Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Jungle Trader YouTube channel. We'll be starting live today on January 22, New York session. Let's get going. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Let's get started. S&P 500 did hit an all-time high on Friday. It was a really nice run up. And let's have a look at this. If you were here with us on Friday, this was the trade idea we talked about on the 30-minute time frame. We also executed the trade. I think the stop loss was just around here. And the profit target. I was able to capitalize on this trade. And actually, I let the profits run. I was able to capture just around here. Yeah, because this is Sunday open, Sunday at night in the futures. It's a very good day. Friday was a lovely day. All right, let's get going here. Start from the daily time frame. I'm just gonna clear it up so we could start from a blank sheet. I know there's an easy way to do this, but that's okay. So here's what we're doing. Basically, we broke the 4,800 level, which was here, and it had been there for a little bit. That we attempted again, pulled back, the market came back, and we rushed back up. So this was the previous resistance zone. Okay. This is just to show, and then we'll do this more precise on a shorter time frame. But right now, we're just trying to make sure you guys understand what's going on in the market and what to expect. Okay. Let's see here. So we're in a bullish trend right now, breaking all-time highs, market pushing up. This bar closing highly bullish, and the next bar gapped up, probably pushed up all the way, or created the lower wick and then pushed up all the way. The move on that is about 18 points. It's a fair bit of run up. And after this, probably this is the next support, but that's far away, so I'm not gonna bother keeping that on. But basically, we broke out, and it's a clear skate. Usually the round number, so the next one, the big one, would be 4,900. We could use Fibonacci extensions for that, but for this streams, I'm gonna keep it really simple in the language that you can understand. We'll keep it very simple and take trades just basis on the actual price action versus any indicators or anything else. Yeah. So let's just break it down and go down to lower time frames, and then we'll start drawing a little bit more of the support zones or supports, whatever. This is a 4-hour, extremely bullish. It was almost like a pullback, reload, and then it exploded. Let's go on the hourly. So for sure we have a zone here, but typically the way we draw these zones is looking at the current move. If the previous move somehow aligns based on the zones you draw or the supports that you draw on your current move, that'd be ideal. If it doesn't, let's try and stick to the most recent move that happened. And this here will be one of them. Not a lot of volume, as you can see in London session today. That's the move, 50 points. Let's try and go to 30 minutes. Probably something here, but it'll be interesting to see once the price action moves. Yeah. And as you can see, this area is also holding. And there's some resistance around here. Before I would draw this top one, I would wait for this bar to close. If it's continuing to go up, it's probably already broken out of the 48.54. This should be interesting to see. Let's give it a little bit of time here. It's 15 minutes before this 30-minute closes. And as you can see, the range on these bars have gone down significantly as compared to Friday. So the volume's dying. I would wait for the 8:30 and see if it picks up. But ideally, what would be the best case scenario is, let me zoom in a little bit here, is we come back, retest the low, which is 48.42. It's not too far. I'm just gonna go on a lower time frame. 42. It's actually all the way here. Just gonna draw a line. Because it did try that at 2 a.m. so pre-London, wasn't able to push all the way down. Yeah, 30 more minutes. Let's wait for this candle to close. In the meantime, we can also look at what are some of the economic events or the news that's scheduled for this week. Maybe I'll leave Canada on. I just want to see US, to be honest. And we'll do Friday. Canada has its monetary policy and interest rate decision. Okay, on Wednesday. PMI is out on Wednesday for US. GDP, the quarter four, is going to be out on Thursday. So just keep this in mind, that there are going to be news headlines. And core personal consumption expenditure is out. This is on Friday. PCE. Okay. Today market can do whatever. I don't think it would be significantly impacted based on the news. Just in here as the price develops, we're just breaking below this pin bar here. This could very well just come back down to this zone here, even like test this wick before it does anything. Let's open this as well. Let's have a look. Let's just see how price action develops. Let's also have a look. This up here, figure this out. Well, let's see what's going on. So another 8 minutes for the 30 minutes close, and that would be, there's a lot of pin bars here. So there was this push up that was pre-London, and this is during the Asian session. This is actually London open, so that's pre-London. This is Asian. Just these few bars. Okay. So we did come down and create that lower wick pre-London. Yeah. Would have got that. 10 minutes. It's okay. But yeah, what we're hoping today is basically similar to what happened on Friday, is a pullback onto this level and then indication of bullish trend. And yeah, you basically would still be taking a long trade. It doesn't make sense to take bearish trade while the market's still falling down. So it's very important to stick to the rule book you have and just focus on the direction that market's already moving, because you're going to be try and go against the direction of the trend, and it does not work that well. Okay, once again, we're looking at S&P 500. That's what we'll be trading. And there is about 7 minutes for the candle bar to close, the 30-minute. And we want to see how this one closes. If it's going to push down or push up. Usually 8:30 volume also comes in. So This should be very interesting. I'm just gonna try and log in here to my Ftmo account online here, so I can show you guys the challenge we started together is actually done. Now we move down to verification phase on that. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, basically, if you guys recall, this was the first day of the stream is when we started this challenge. And on Friday, after the last trade, I just explained that we talked about during the stream taking a long here. I was actually able to capture, I think my entry was just around 48.02, and then my close was around 48.39, so about 42 points that we were able to capture on this challenge. And this was the trade. So it was a buy. I had 150 units of S&P 500 cash contracts. This is not like options contract, so one's just equal to one. And the entry price was 48.02, so just around here. And the closing price was 48.38.71, which is just up here, right around here, 38.71. So almost most of the move. And this was what we discussed in the stream, right? That this move's in making and we're gonna break out. And that's what happened. So yeah, very excited. Now this challenge is done. So all the current trading objectives are achieved, passed. The way it works with this Ftmo firm is this is a $50,000 account challenge, and that's what our curve looks like. We started off a couple of losses, dipped down to minus 2,000, picked up a gradual increase up, and then slowly pushing up, and then just a couple of good trades past the challenge. Now we are in verification. So see, we're just starting a fresh account here. The actual requirements for verifications are a little bit easier. I haven't placed any trades on this yet. We'll see if there's an opportunity today. But the way it works with the verification is it's half the amount of profits required before they actually give you the $50,000 cash account. So yeah, exciting. Let's wait for this bar to close. It's about 3 minutes. It is pushing up and closing bullish, so it should be interesting. Let's see what futures are doing here. Yeah, similar trajectory where last night it opened, pushed up a little bit, consolidated, and pushed up a little bit just before pre-London. It was consolidating up until 2, and then 3 a.m. is when the London Open happens, and then we got a push up. Nothing significant, it's just about a 10 points push. About another 2 minutes. Let's go back to a chart. It is pushing back up. This could very well just continue. And at that point, I think this should more so be here. And this is just a continuation. The reason it's not here is there's probably resistance here, but this bar, if it keeps going up, then there wasn't a significant resistance here. This looks more like a retest at the bottom than anything else. Leave it just around here. Why did you worse? 16 seconds. All right, so that one closed as a bullish pin bar. I still don't see any trading opportunities. 8:30. It would be ideal if we could just push back down. This looks like it just opened, gap down a little bit, trying to create that bottom wick. I have a feeling the market's going to be very range bound today. The whole move's 13 points, not very tight range. Or we just continue to push up. That's more likely, but let's see. Yeah, so we created that bottom wick and let's just continue to push up. Just want a little bit of market to develop in this area before we press that buy button. We'll just be observing the price here for a little bit. No news headlines today. It's going to be pretty much without any news. Let's have a look at some of the stocks. What's going on? Oh yeah, Apple's antitrust lawsuit. We also have the earnings coming on the 1st. It's about 8 days in a week. Pro-Palestinian protester disrupt Australian open match. Curled and traveling opens. Let's see what's going on with Newstar's stock. Wow, it's up 22% as Sunoco to acquiring company in $7.3 billion deal. Let's have a look. It's probably gapped up significant, I would think. What are we at? Pre-market. $22. Wow. Closed at 18. It's above that range. Yeah, what's per yeah, about 7 points. So it's 24% premium. There's still a little bit of money left in this pre-market, but I guess when the market closes, it's going to pick up and close closer to that 7 billion value that they're claiming. So it should be very interesting. Let's quickly go through all the other charts that we have, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, yields, oil, before we come back to our S&P 500 that we're trading. And as mentioned, let's just have a look. The 30-minute from 8 to 8:30 candle did close bullish. I don't know where our zones went, but you can always redraw them. But so what's happening here is the 8:30 closed bullish up here, but we're pushed below it, so it doesn't matter. Ideally, what we'd be looking for is a pullback down for the retest to the bottom, which is the bottom of the daily candle. So just around here. As you can see, it doesn't have a bottom wick, especially on this cash chart. So ideally, what we want to see is come back, test the bottom, create a bottom wick, possibly, and then it can continue to go up. That would be the best case scenario where we could actually get some really good trades. The total range of this bar is 19 points. So it can happen. Okay. So probably another 16 points to go. And the low on this bar is 48, 45, 28. You know what? Given our zones are gone, let's just quickly draw some of the supports here. So there's potentially something here. And there's also something right around. So we'll just maybe use this top, given it is already happened. I'll fix the way it looks. One second here. Yeah, okay, that's better. So yeah, ideally what we want to see is push down, or even when the market opens, test and create a wick in this area, and then we can possibly take a long trade to the upside. So just to move here for a breakout. And the safer way to do the trade is either we'll look for like bullish pin bars or buying opportunities down in this area, or even up here a little bit, and for a move up. But if you're someone who's going to be trading intraday as well, unlike me, where we're just going to trade the open, then what would also be ideal is actually waiting for market to come up here. And if there is a wick on the previous candle, then looking for the wick fill on the new bar, which I'll show you as it happens. And going back to the economic calendar, so for this week, there is not a lot of news apart from the GDP data. Let me just filter this real quick, get rid of the Canada here. So this is for US only. And then also, let me tell you, the 27th. So Wednesday, we have the PMI. So that's actually a big number that everyone looks at for recession and whatnot. And even for the markets and bond markets, would be looking at that. And on top of that, we have the GDP, so gross domestic product. And the PCE is coming out on Friday as well. That's at 8:30. All these should be at 8:30. Okay, PMI is at 9:45. That's fine. So most likely what happens is when there is news events on Wednesday and Thursday, the way it is right now with GDP and PMI, which are pretty big and significant, you'll see whatever move on Monday. What I mean by that is the news is not going to impact that move, or they're going to try and price in what is expected in the news. And on Tuesday, it's going to be a choppy price action where the price goes up, comes down, tests the low, goes up, tests the high, and basically doesn't have a distinct direction. It doesn't move in one direction. And once you get the news, you get that spike, you get more volume coming in, and then the price decides the direction. So for this week, the best trades you would be able to get is either today, tomorrow it would mostly be range bound, and Wednesday is when we're actually going to have a very good session because we'll have those PMI numbers out, and then we'll see which direction the market wants to go and how it's developing for the next 3 days before it makes that move. So Yeah, tune in on Wednesday for sure. Hopefully we can get a nice trade in today. But as I mentioned, I just wanted to pull back down a little bit more. The volume's not where we want it yet. I was hoping it would pick up a little bit for the 830. But that's okay. We had a significant move on Friday, which we were able to capture. And yeah, going back to this challenge, we're doing the Ftmo $50,000 account challenge. We did pass this challenge. Oh, that's a $100,000 account that I did. So this is verification, but this is the actual challenge. So if the Friday trade did the trick, this is what our graph looked like before we actually hit the 5,000 target, which is basically 10%. They want you to hit a 10% return. This is over 2 weeks. All the trades were placed based on the discussions that were done in live stream. And I think at least 90% of the trades were placed in live stream as well. So these are some of the parameters. The maximum daily loss that we did was 2,200, about 4.53%. Maximum loss, meaning how much negative we went under the actual curve from zero. As you can see, we started out a little bumpy. It was just about 3.9% before we pushed back up. So 10%. So we passed all of these challenges. And the last trade was the beautiful breakout on Friday. The entry on that trade was 48.02. And the target price I had at was 48.38. So it actually hit the TP. And that was the net. Yeah. Basically, we traded the whole breakout move. Entry around here, 48.02 on this bar, and then closed it on this bar, just at the market close on Friday. It was lovely. Okay, as this one's pushing down, which is what we want, just keep coming down. Still 20 minutes to go. In the meantime, let's go through some of the other charts and see where they're at. Just gonna look at a little bit more higher time frame. So Bitcoin is still within that range. We drew the support line on Friday. So I think it could possibly stay within this range. See if it can push back up and bounce a little bit here. We're at 40, so 40,000 is just the low of the previous, this bottom wick. Yeah, since the ETF approval, it's been pretty choppy. It was almost like buy the rumor and sell the news event. When the actual ETFs were launched, everything was already priced in at that point. And Ethereum did pick up. Even though Bitcoin was selling at the time, Ethereum was actually receiving a lot of that money that was coming out of Bitcoin, because there's a possibility the Ethereum ETF would get approved next. So it's the exact same setup that happened with Bitcoin that's happening with Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum's been pushing up, but it's a very slow, choppy grind. And our S&P 500, we did break out of this high here, which we were holding. This is all-time high. Let me tell you, the 48.20 right here was the all-time high, and once that breakout happened, there's no looking back. And just understand that based on the PMI, if it's in favor of the markets, this range could just continue. We're gonna get a nice push, like maybe 5-6 green bars going up, right? Something similar to like these moves here, right? Whenever the market breaks out, it continues going up. Unless we come back down today, which is unlikely given how we closed on Friday, but we never decide on which direction. Always keep an open mind, and we're just gonna trade the setups that are gonna show up. Right. Let's look at the dollar index, which is your DXY. DXY, since this move here, I still remember when we broke out of here, I was trying to keep that trend line and see whenever we broke out and do a retest. Since that, it's been a very range bound. There's a lot of printing that's happening, the Feds are doing. So the actual value of the US dollar is not as intact as it used to be. But again, the PMI is going to impact this at all. It's going to be a big news event. Gold is fairly close to, it's running very close to all-time highs. which were earlier here, 2069. We did hit that a couple of weeks ago, up to 2157, this bar here. But right now it's just been choppy going up. It's a very slow move. But yeah, this bar here actually pushed up all the way and came down and closed as bearish. This was probably during CPI, or this could be. So the direction, I think we're still pretty bullish on gold as well, just because as you can see, the whole trend is bullish. It's just consolidating and there's still a push up here. So there's still a buying pressure. So the longer it consolidates, the bigger the move's gonna be. As you can see, it's been doing that for at least a couple of years, I think now, 3 years. This is August, so about 2.5 years. I think this right here is about 2.5 years. Yeah, 1288 days, 910 bars total. So whenever that breakout comes, it's going to be significant on gold. I think we could see probably a 10%, 15% move on this, which is a lot. The treasury yields are still holding above the 3%, significantly above the 3% marks. We're at 4% roughly. This has broken down a long-term bearish trend that we're pushing back up. I don't know how much you guys watch treasuries, but we've always just sold off on this. But since the COVID-19 2020 March, we're just kind of like going up and up and up. I didn't think it would break above the 3.26%, but now it's been holding for a reasonable amount of time above that line. So yeah, keeping an eye. We still have about 15 minutes before the 30-minute close on the S&P 500, so we'll just quickly have a look if it's pushing back down the way we want it to. It is. It's actually looking very nice. It's a nice bearish bar coming down. Perfect. Let's look at the oil real quick while that candle's still building up. Oil was trading pretty nicely up. And of course, we had this negative oil crisis where a lot of people made a lot of money. I had a couple of really good trades where I think I got it from 53 down to like $8. Didn't actually get negative, but that was one of the cash contracts that were traded. So it was a very nice move, but now we're just consolidating. So it was a nice bullish move up, grinding down, just some consolidation. I think oil, Bitcoin, these are going to be a little range bound over the next few months because the top of the range are pretty high up. There's about 20 points roughly even for oil. So it's going to be range bound for Bitcoin, oil, whereas your S&P could just keep pushing up. Gold just need a reason to push up. As soon as there's a news and whatnot, will probably look a lot better. This is Apple's stock. So Apple's probably one of the only stocks that's lacking in terms of where it is at. If you compare it to Microsoft, Google, I think during their earnings call, they've talked a lot about artificial intelligence and how they're going to incorporate AI onto their platforms and make life easy for everyone. But Apple hasn't been able to talk about AI as much on their earnings call, which I'm hoping on the 1st of Feb we do that, because I think most, if not everything, I know Microsoft, Google, they've broken the previous all-time high and right now they're trading above. So meanwhile, Apple had a nice pullback here and people are buying it back. I think the 200-day moving average was just around here. Let me show that to you. So it was a nice bounce on Apple at the 200 simple moving average. And now we're just pushing back to test the all-time high, which is around $200 on Apple. So the ideal scenario for Apple would be earnings are awesome and it just continues to push up. So that would be the best case scenario. And as I was saying, like Microsoft and Google, let's have a look real quick. So Microsoft, as you can see, the previous all-time high was about 344. It's gone way past that. Even over here, it's 362. Very bullish. Microsoft has its earning too. Let's quickly have a look. So this is on 30th, so just a day before Apple. So all the big tech are actually coming out and having their earnings. Google chart looks a little bit more like Apple, I think. So we're coming around and testing the highs from back in 21, November, December. I know Netflix has its earning tomorrow. On NASDAQ. And meanwhile, everything was going up, breaking out on Friday. Netflix was just holding back a little bit. This could be actually be a good thing for the stock. Yeah, the all-time high on Netflix is still back in 2021 November. About $700. So if they can come out good tomorrow, this stock has like a catch up to do. It could push up. Boeing's another one that's actually looked a very good buying opportunity. Because of the news, we got this sell-off where the actual passenger door of the plane blew off. I'm sure you all are probably aware of that, but I did place an option trade at 200 on Boeing. Bought some next year June contract, actually just one, with a strike price of 230. And yeah, just hoping for it to have a nice earning and just bounce back up over the next few months. So Boeing's going to be very interesting because the all-time highs on Boeing is about 500, and right now we're trading about 215. Pre-market, it's down to 213, 214. And it has been a range bound. So this could have possibly broken out if there wasn't that bad news event. Yeah, as long as the new orders keeps coming in, I feel like companies like Boeing, which is the American dream kind of companies, meaning the government will rescue them no matter what. That's what we've seen always with Boeing. So there's always an opportunity here. Like whenever there is a pullback, it shouldn't last too long. There's always an opportunity on companies where there's always a bailout. Well, let's see how we're building here on S&P. Once again, just to give, I see there's a few more people here today. The way we trade is there's different time frames you can trade on, right? Some people trade daily because they only do swing trading. Other people only do, hourly or 30 minutes. The way we trade is we basically take a confirmation on an hourly and trade on a 30. Because we only have a couple of hours we actually place trades on and close trades on. So the confirmation needs to be quick and it needs to confirm. So that's why we do a really quick flip on the actual trades. So just hoping that it pulls back a little bit more so we get a buying opportunity on this bar here. Just keep an eye. Also, if you guys have any questions or if you would like me to look at any chart, feel free to post it in comment section, live chat. I should be able to pull that up and we can talk about it. Another 8 minutes. Home Depot and Lowe's downgraded to cautious stance towards home improvement. Yeah, these ratings, I feel like whenever they want to buy, they rate something down, and when they want to sell, they'll change it to buy rating. Don't believe what you see, whenever they tell you or there's a headline of one stock or the other on CNBC or even headlines. You should always be trading the charts and the methodology you believe in. A lot of headlines. Let's have a look. Tesla will cut stock target. That's more to do with, I think, China. Sprint Airlines shares set continued rebound. I think most of the airlines were bouncing. They were range bound and they were picking up. Oil edges higher given the geopolitical tension. Futures are still at 85, so it's been pretty steady. It's a little bit down with this bar here. We can push up, but what we're looking for is just something like this. Buy or not. We need our bullish confirmation. Even to the top of the range, it's 2.35 risk reward, so we'll see how it develops, but looking to get something like this. See if we can push back a little bit more. It's a very tight range, so it doesn't make sense to actually rush trades. So we're better off just being patient and figuring it out. A few minutes just pushing back up. See how choppy it's been? One green bar next red and green and red. It's very undecided. It's just consolidating. And we don't like consolidating trades, so we can try and give it some time to settle down and figure out which direction it wants to go. But most of the bars went like that. Green, red, red, green, green, red. We do have a little bit more volume on this red bar, but nothing significant. I would like to see. It's also the 8:30, so usually you get volume around that time. Let's go back to our 30 minutes so we don't see the actual noise. Also, today we'll be ending the stream a little bit earlier. I have a few meetings to attend. So we'll be ending the stream around 9:20. So we'll see the next bar close and hopefully we can find some opportunities. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, more news on Boeing. FFA recommends inspection of another 737 model plane. Yeah, they should just get done inspection of all of them that are there and not bother. So it did sell off pre-market and we're pushing back up on Boeing. Yeah. AMD has been another big winner this year, or last few years. So AMD stock plunges as investigation counting misses profit expectation. What is it doing pre-market? It's down. Oh, this is actually different. It's not AMD. It's ADM. That's me. Need my morning coffee at the Okay. Gold's a little bit down. Futures are holding. We're getting this a little bit curl off, like right here, but it's not too bad. I think as long as the 48.80 can hold, which is only 5 points. So the whole move was only 10 points in London session, which is not significant at all. If we don't see a big range today, and maybe the markets are just waiting for Wednesday to have the PMI numbers out and probably the expansion or contraction in the economy that we'll be able to tell from the GDP, which is quarterly coming out. But I've seen GDP most of the time is going to be pretty close to where market puts it at. It's usually within the expectations, if you will. Whereas some of the other things like PMI, it could be a consensus could be like 53, 54 number, but the actual could be completely different. Okay, there we go. We got a close, and that's a bearish close on the 30-minute bar. So for this bar, what we actually want to see is this go up slightly, create that bottom wick, and continue to go down and be another red candle. So market opens at 9:30, so it should be very interesting. So yeah, we created that wick. I would have actually liked it a little bit more, but that's okay. If we can keep pushing that. Yeah, once we get this wick fill, break the low, then I think it should just come down and test this low again. Futures are pushing back down too. Perfect. This is good. We do need to test the low. That'll be the best. It is very choppy today, so let's see. Maybe I should just start the challenge at least. Let me see if I could just do like a small 0.01 just so that I start getting the statistics for the challenge. 1 unit, so that one. Okay. Just did a quick sell trade here. Just want to get the challenge started for verification. Gonna let it push down a little bit and close it. And we'll have all these matrix and everything populate, and this will get started. Yeah, we did dip down here from the high, which is happening right here live as we speak. So it's perfect. Yeah, as we've been talking, so what we really want to see is pull back down and market creating a bullish candles here, and then a push back up. That's what would be ideal. There is half hour, about 27 minutes for market open. So just stay with me. It's gonna be pretty tight because this bar is gonna have. I think it's probably gonna do the most damage as it will create the range bound. So the high and the low of this bar, typically when broken, is the direction the market usually goes. So your 9:30 candle that's going to start opening, if it breaks the high of this bar, it ideally would come back up and test the top. Or if it breaks the low, it could actually go down and test the low. You know what? Just for the fun of it, I think the next one's up 4,800. Possibly could test this here. There's nothing significant support. Let me try this. In case if he wants to keep pushing down. I'm gonna make it a little bit more precise here. So perfect. Okay, so I did place a quick sell trade here just to get the challenge started. Nothing significant. I just took 1 unit. Hopefully this comes up. And then we should get going. But it's breaking the low here, so it's gonna keep pushing down. Yeah, so we wick filled that previous bar and continuing to come down. This is great. Might be able to get an opportunity here for the market open. Also, when the market moves 1.25% on Friday, that's usually the major part of the move, right? That happened on Friday. So you can't expect it to give you 1% every day for 3 weeks and whatnot, right? So it always have these times where it just consolidate again until there is more data in terms of how economy is doing, how the earnings for all the companies that are listed, for example, this is S&P 500, what their projections are, if they're going to be profitable or not, if their profits are going up. So based on that, it's all analyzed and seen that, if the earnings are growing by 20%, then we should see that reflection on S&P 500. But just remember, because we only trade S&P 500, keep in the back of your mind that we already had a big move on Friday. What's the likelihood that it's going to keep pushing 1% a day for next 10 days? Very unlikely. The average return on S&P 500 per year is 10%, right? So something that moves 1% a day for 10 days is not sustainable. It would pull back and it would do the consolidation, or even just pull back and create a little downtrend before it continues to go up, so that the net year over year, it averages around 10%, right? So just keep that in mind. That's part of the reason why we think it's going to push back, right? Because all the way the markets work, really, the more you trade the same instrument, the more you'll get to know about it, how it reacts, and how much does it move, right? I've been trading S&P 500 for, I don't know, 7 years, so I've seen it do different things in different time frames. It acts different way during elections. During intraday, when a different pattern develops, it typically does this versus that, right? So all those things are very important to keep in mind, especially when placing your trade, or at least having the trade idea, right? So you don't expect too much from the actual trade. All right, let's just go to 15-minute. Yeah, that pushed back up, and then we sold right off, right? That's what we've been seeing. Green bar, red bar, green bar, red bar. That's what happens when it's consolidating. Doesn't want to move in one direction instinctively. What we're not seeing is a lot of volume, which I believe will come in at 9:30. So this should be very interesting. I don't think we looked at NASDAQ. Let's have a look. What's NASDAQ doing? NASDAQ did the exact same thing as S&P. Yeah, when we broke out, I think it was just quicker to break out. As you can tell, the close on this bar was almost at all-time high, whereas S&P 500 was lagging a little bit, and the Friday bar is the one that actually broke out. Yeah, the volume is declining too. Hopefully the volume stay close or higher here. I might see a correction otherwise. Oh, there we go. Started now. So we placed our first trade for a total profit of 50 cents. Yeah, just to get the challenge started. So there's a sell trade, just 1 unit. Target's 2,500, so this one's going to be a little bit more quicker as compared to the 10% target, which can take a little bit long, especially when you're trying to do the challenge safely. Yeah, even the NASDAQ's pulling back. Also, something to note is NASDAQ typically moves faster than S&P. Even though S&P 500 hasn't tested the low that it created during this London session, NASDAQ's already broken below. So this could very well come below the actual support. So keep an open mind, that's all I'm saying. Pushing back down still. Let's get rid of this. Reminder again, today's stream will actually be ending in next 5 minutes or so. Wednesday should be a very exciting stream given we have PMI, and I think we're going to get a lot bigger range and a lot of movement. I did not take any trade today apart from just this test trade because there isn't much movement right now. Like there's not a range that you can trade, right? Like even this is like a 5-point move. So tight. If you can avoid and skip days like this, there's nothing better. And really capitalize on days like Friday when the market's actually moving in one direction or the other. But if you skip days like today, then that's the only way you're gonna have the account live or alive in order to take those trades, right? So it's very important. Yeah, there was no economic event today. Futures are pulling back a little bit. Still at 48.85. The December contracts are at 5,000. I'm hoping we go over 5,000. It's only 150 points. Still 16 minutes here for this close, but might be able to see a 15-minute close. Let's have a look, which is this bar here. Yeah, ideally if the next bar comes and breaks this low, then yeah, I don't see why we won't come down to like 48.53ish and then probably create a wick in this zone here. where the buying comes in. Basically, this is could even come to this buy zone just around here. On the daily, is just going to look like one candle with a wick at the bottom and just pushing up. So this is intraday action. On a larger time frame, this noise is going to be blurred. You don't see it. It's only going to be one bar and it's within the range. So this time is most of the times not seen. Yes, we got the 50-minute close as bearish. It's picking up. Ideally would create that wick at the top before it continues to push down. Won't be here to watch that. I think we're gonna call it a day today, guys. It's a very range bound. Just be careful if you trade. We'll be back Wednesday at 8 a.m. Looking forward to trading with you guys, the PMI. Have a good one. Take care.